You're listening to the Chopped Podcast, episode number 63. Hey everyone, I'm Marley of the blog Namely Marley. Thanks for joining me today for the 63rd episode of the Chopped Podcast. You know, this is the podcast designed for people just like you, bloggers who love food. Today's kind of a surprise, right? I mean, I bet you weren't expecting your podcast alert to show something from the Chopped Podcast today. I always love getting those alerts from my podcast app. It makes me wonder, what new conversation am I going to get to listen to today? Podcasts are the best, don't you think? So it's such an honor to produce this show for you each and every week. And today we're introducing something new. Do you remember Cara Ansis? She's with the site Fork and Beans, and she's been on the show twice already. And she and I received such positive feedback about her previous appearances on the show. And so Cara and I have been talking about it, and we decided to add a little weekly conversation to your earbuds. Each Friday, we'll chat about different topics related to food blogging, creative entrepreneurship, or even just being a creative human on planet Earth. That's a lot to cover, so I think we'll have lots to talk about. For today's first episode of FriChats, that's what we're calling it, FriChats. So today's the first episode of FriChats, and we are going to be talking about the zen of having someone in your corner. I know you're going to love this discussion, so let's get right to it. Everyone, it's time for FriChat. Hey everyone, I'm happy to have Cara Ansis of Fork and Beans. You know, she's been here before, but we're starting something new today. It's called our Friday FriChats, and this is just going to be Cara and I kind of jamming on different topics of interest. Cara, welcome to FriChats.
What's up, Marley? I'm so excited about FriChats.
Me too. I'm so excited. And you know, Cara and I kind of talked about some different topics that we'll talk about throughout the weeks. But today's topic is something that I found really interesting. It's called having someone in your corner. And you know, before we get started, I know this is, you know, here we are excited and having this really great time, but you know, for people that don't know about what's been going on with you, Cara, I don't know if you want to talk about this. I mean, we will try to get through this without breaking down and crying. It's a wonderful, moving, and also very sad story all at the same time.
Yes, I am going to try my best to power through this one because I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. But for those of you who don't know, on Valentine's Day, my mother had a severe ruptured brain aneurysm on the right side of her brain, and she was in the ICU. And with an injury that severe, they suspected that a stroke could happen, and it did. It hit her left side of her brain and also the front portion, which left her completely disabled, unable to move on her entire right side, unable to speak. I don't know how much information she was able to process at that point. And my mom was a very free spirit and beautiful woman who loved life. My gosh, you just knew that she was an independent, fierce, full of life kind of woman. And so when they said, you know, that she will have to be fed through her stomach for the rest of her life, my family were all unanimous because my mom was very adamant about this subject all throughout growing up and into my adulthood. It was a joke within our family that my mom would say, whatever it is you do, don't put me in a home. And she had no idea how those words would just be really comforting in a really extremely hard time to decide, do we watch our mom live the rest of her life like this, or do we choose to end her life? And we chose the latter. We knew that's exactly what she would have wanted, so we took her home for end-of-life care. And I spent the next 2 weeks watching my mother die. And it has completely rocked my world. It's been a month now. And for anybody who's had a parent or a very close loved one die, it changes you completely. And there's been a lot of gifts in her passing. And one of the gifts is she has been teaching me how to be a better champion for myself and to realize what in my life I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. And it really comes down to being assertive and being able to express my needs and being able to ask other people what it is I need, because that's the person that she was. And just living my life the way I want it. So
those are wonderful gifts.
It's been an incredible gift, and of course she would still be imparting great gifts after her time here on Earth, because she was just the greatest person ever. And so
yeah, I followed along on Facebook and saw the pictures, and she did look, I mean, her love for you and just it was just all very amazing.
She was the person at work at the water cooler that when you saw walking down the hall, you would run, because she was going to pull out her phone or pictures of her children and just brag about them. When I went to the hospital my mom worked in a hospital. In fact, she worked in the hospital we brought her back to in her life. And everybody would walk down the hall, and they would know us. They would know her children, and we've never met these people. And I had many people who were like, "Oh, I follow your blog." Yeah, totally. And it just spoke of how much of a fan my mom was of her kids. She just was so proud of us.
That's just so wonderful. And it's one of the reasons, that I wanted to talk with you about this topic today, which is, having someone in your corner, because you mentioned on one of your posts that your mom would often leave comments on your site, and the name she used was your number one fan.
She's the cutest. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She was there from the birthing of Fork and Beans. I have a post that I discussed of her and I sitting in a cafe, and I'm like, I think I want to start a blog. And my mom's like, oh, yeah, so cool. It's so awesome, Cara. I love it. It's so great.
Oh.
She had no idea what a blog was, but she was already I always joked I could be a stripper, and my mom would be like, you work that pole. That's right. That's how much she loved her kids. Whatever choices we decided to make, if it made us happy, she'd be right there throwing dollar bills. Oh, this is getting inappropriate,
No, I love it. Because here I am. I have this tattoo, and I have not yet got the gumption to tell my mother, and it's just a tattoo. And here you are,
No, I get it. Oh, I'm sure. Look, if I really, no. If
not
I had
all
a
of
tattoo,
us.
I probably wouldn't have. No.
Not all of us have had that, great mother-daughter relationship like that. And I'm not envious in a bad way. I'm so happy for you. I just feel like, oh, wait a minute. I just now realized, Cara, my mom listens to my podcast. Hi, Mom. Guess what? I have a tattoo.
Hi, Mom. I love it. Confession time.
Oh, well, that's one way to tell her.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll edit that out now.
But, I was just thinking as I was, as we were preparing for today, how few people actually have that, whether it's their parent or just anybody who is, do we have someone in our corner, at least someone in our corner that is just behind us all the way? And that, I think that can make such a difference, because blogging can be emotional at times, and having that support.
All the time. Yes.
Yeah,
really think about it. You're giving part of your soul away all the time. It's an art form, right? So We're constantly allowing ourselves to be available to people, to answer questions, to put our art out there. And as much as we don't want to admit it, we feel validated by the acceptance of our art.
Yes.
And so it is very emotional. Who takes care of you then?
Right, exactly. And oftentimes, like for example, I'll put myself out there and say, I'm strong, I can do this. But then, after a while of being so strong for so long, it can really start to wear you down. And so having somebody there, I don't know, I just think it can be really important.
That's very important. And that's who's in your corner, right?
My dog, yes. Jack is in my corner.
Chiming in saying, What do you think about this, Marley?
Okay.
Because this thought just popped into my crazy brain as you were talking, that you can have many people in your corner, but if you aren't your biggest fan, then it's kind of hard to get people to support you too, don't you think?
Oh, that is so true. Yes. So what I'm hearing you say is like if I have seeds of doubt about myself, and you're an artist putting yourself out there, those seeds can get even stronger. How can I expect other people to support me if I don't support myself?
Or,
okay,
if I'm not in my own corner, if some girl or guy, I'm not going to differentiate, on Instagram bashes something I just did, I'm not going to believe in what I put out there, because I'm looking for that validation elsewhere.
Oh, yes.
I think that when we have validated ourselves and that we are our biggest fan, then we can find other people to support us and to come into our corner and be fans as well, but they can't sway us from what and how we think about ourselves, because we already know what it is that we think about ourselves.
Hello, that is just beautiful. And in fact, I think if anything, when you find that sweet spot, they're actually drawn to you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's perfect. Yeah.
I love talking with you.
I love talking with you. We should do this every Friday.
We should. I love it. That's a great idea. But I'm immediately like, I put my MBA hat on. I'm ready to put a spreadsheet together and like, who are the 10 people I need to reach out to be in my corner? And what your point is so beautiful. It's just like, it's like a spiritual side of it.
Well, this is something that everybody listening that Marley and I talk about often, is the idea that you can get your 10 tips and tricks about anything, about running a business, running a blog, whatever it might be, but the reality is that doesn't guarantee it's going to give you productivity or the success that you want. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
What is going to give you the success is doing the work yourself, in yourself, loving yourself, figuring out who you are, figuring out what your needs are, and figure out how you can communicate that in an effective way. But it all starts with you. I mean, this to me is the basis of authenticity. It starts with me, and it starts with, who the heck am I? That is a gift that my mom gave me, and why her loss is so significant in my life. But it is also a gift because she taught me from a very young age. She instilled in me how loved I was and how special I was, and repeated it over and over and over again. And so I have a portion in my soul that's imprinted with, yeah, I'm good enough. But then there's that other part of me that feels like I'm not. But if that's not there, if there isn't a portion of that in your soul, then it's so hard to do the 5 habits or 8 habits of highly effective people, or the 10 patterns of a successful blogger, because you haven't come to the root of the problem. And not to say that you're the problem, but the root of it all is, it starts in you and your belief in yourself.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I think what I'm hearing is like you can have both. You need to have that core that you are enough, but then also there's this other side of you that enjoys community, enjoys collaborating with others, and then for them to come and give you that support. That just it's like icing on a really good cake.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, because you can have a cake without icing. It's good. But put some icing on a good cake and you've got it.
That's debatable. Yeah, exactly.
Are you an icing person?
I was just going to ask you the same question. I'm actually I'm the cake person. I want the cake. I want a little bit of icing, though, to give that, but I don't want too much.
You're not the corner piece kind of person.
Oh, well, if it's a brownie, I want the quarter piece. I want it crispier. I want it like that chewiness. Or if it's like lasagna or something that's baked, like a dinner, I want burnt.
Yes.
I'm weird. What about you? You like icing? You're icing gal?
I have always been like, seeking out the corner piece that has all the icing. I'm all the icing all the time. Yeah, I like the icing.
I got my eye on you. Now, next time that I'm around you and cake, then I'm going to watch out for you.
We'll be perfect because you don't want the corner piece and I do.
That's true.
It's all good.
Cake, I want the moist piece. And I'll scoop off some of the icing and throw it on your plate. Yeah.
Give it to me and I'll be sitting there like...
Marley, that's what we call having someone in your corner. You got me.
I love it.
Full circle.
Are we going to start singing now?
We can. I might embarrass you, but we can if you want.
Well, I thought we could also talk a little bit about, maybe like sometimes we have the wrong person in our corner. And that happens too, right? I mean, you think you have someone who is a friend and it turns out that they had other motives in place. And I thought we could talk a little bit about that.
Or even like, God bless them, they're still struggling with their own self. And so their insecurities come out, whether it's in a passive aggressive way or a very aggressive way. And I think that comes back to that original issue that you have to know yourself and know what it is that you need and find those people who can fit into that and it's always different, right? Our needs are so different from everyone else's, and that's okay. But if say you come across somebody who is success driven and you're more about community, just note that. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just that person and I probably won't see eye to eye on certain things. And so I'm not going to bring you into my inner circle. You can be out on the outskirts, but you're not going to be the person I'm going to tell my whole heart and soul to.
Right. I have a neighbor, I call her my adopted mother, and she gives me lots of good pearls, and she says, your trust is earned is her point, but she'll actually say you're guilty till proven innocent. Because people have to prove that they're trustworthy, I think, before you bare your soul to them.
I agree. I mean, I feel like your deepest secrets and desires and your heart, it should be guarded, and not everyone deserves to hear all of that. It doesn't mean I have to be mean to you or withhold everything, but I just have to be discerning on who I'm sharing things with.
Yes.
Have you had an experience where,
I had,
do you find that common when you're also interviewing people too for the podcast, that bloggers have had issues like that? Have you had issues like this too?
I think it's a good question. I don't think it's something I've actually gotten into with bloggers. I think it would be a good question to ask is if they've ever had, a situation where someone, was abusive, not abusive in a physical way, but, maybe crossed the lines on friendship and in a way that didn't feel right related to their blog. I don't know. It's a really good question. I mean, I have had that personally where, I thought I was in a friendship with somebody and you learned, okay, there's some other motive here that didn't feel very good. So it's like, you you have to basically walk away from that friendship because, it's not on a good foundation unless it's repairable. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Did you have a gut instinct about that person when you first met them?
It's funny. I always felt when I was around her that I was not good enough, but I just felt like that was how I felt about myself because she was perfect. I mean, she had the perfect house. Like, one time she asked me to grab something out of the closet for her daughter, and the closets were even perfect. Who has perfect closets? That's crazy, That was my warning sign right there, Cara. So yeah, I always felt like I wasn't enough when I was around her. And, then, I don't know what, it was a strange night. She invited me over with friends, and I don't know, she kind of just ended up going off on me. And it was just like this other side. I had no idea that this was going on.
And Marley?
I know. I'm so nice. I'm so fun.
You really are. I can't imagine anyone going off on you.
Well,
unless you took the end piece of the cake.
I took the end piece one too many times.
Yeah.
But I
can understand.
I think it was a friendship that was founded on not something real. Let me just say it that way. And so I think I should have trusted my instinct as I went along. I think I do have this tendency to place on other people that, they've got this together. They've got that. They're so good. And I'm the one that's got to fix things. And so I'm learning to change that energy. And it really does make a difference, even in my friendships.
Yeah. Yeah, because you realize that everyone struggles the same way.
Yes. And when you put other people up on a pedestal, that's just not an even playing ground.
No, and that's not a friendship either.
Yes.
Because it's very uncomfortable for the other person too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really uncomfortable, and then motives start getting questioned too, and it's just it's not good.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I think the same can be true on blogs, because I know, a lot of times, people on this podcast have even talking about one way to grow your audience is to make comments on other sites. I don't know how much people still do that, but I do think it happens. And but hopefully it's done in a way where it's really about community building and not just about, I'm going to get myself, looking better by commenting on your site kind of thing.
Well, I think that it gets a little dicey these days because the blogging world has changed so much.
Yeah.
And it is less about a community. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, that there aren't places that you can find that, but it's more of competition, because nowadays if you start a blog, you have that pressure that you have to have the perfect camera with the perfect pictures and the perfect social media accounts. And it kind of just takes away what it used to be. It used to be like, I'm going to go on so-and-so's blog because I always loved catching up and reading up on it. So it's bred this competition, and I don't know, it's a big pet peeve of mine when people do that, when they comment on your stuff because they just want to be seen by other people. I can't stop that.
No.
And I don't blame you for doing that, but it's not the way I would choose to go about it, because it seems just really fake to me. Oh, you know what really gets on my nerves too?
What? Tell me.
When people like your Instagram account, I can say like the Instagram account because I can actually see it. Yeah. And then they'll like a bunch of photos, and then they'll unlike you 2 days later, and then they'll re-like you the next day and like a bunch of photos. Or
why did they do that?
Unliking you and unfollowing you, because they want your attention. That, hey, you should follow me. And to me, it's like that is the exact opposite of why I do what I do.
Yes. I
want to follow people who have quality stuff. I'm not going to, now you're just making me mad. I'm not going to follow you. Even if you did have quality stuff, you're making me mad.
Yeah. What I don't understand is when people follow you and then you follow them and then they unfollow you. They were just trying to get you to follow them. Yes.
And that's the game that I don't like, and I don't think can stop or will stop. But at least I can wash my hands of it and say, I'm not using people. I I want to find really creative people and people that I love and appreciate their work. And they could, be on my corner the way that I can be in their corner and support them in their art. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it all starts from how you view yourself.
I actually think that's what I'm getting as the seed here is how you view yourself helps you then support others. And then that's what ends up getting, that person in your corner for you.
That's right. So everybody out there, love yourself. That's the moral of the story.
I love it. That's great. Is that the end of our first Fry Chat?
There it is. Love yourself.
Love yourself. We can do that, can't we?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Awesome. So this has been great. I really enjoyed talking with you, Cara. Thanks for the very first wonderful Fry Chat.
Oh, Marley, you're the best. I enjoy talking with you, too.
Yeah, me too.
Keep rocking.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's first episode of Fry Chats. We'll be back next week with another episode, so please come join us, won't you? If you'd like to see the show notes page for today's show, or if you'd like to sign up for our weekly newsletter to get tips on food blogging, just head over to choppedpodcast.com. Well, that's it for today's show. Here's to something inspirational coming your way today.